Hey guys. So I wanted to do a little story time because my first video was a little sad. So I wanted to talk about my mom and her life. She was born in December, so she's a Sagittarius, and she was the best person I know. She was my best friend. Her laugh was contagious, and she would bend over backwards for anyone just to help somebody. This is a younger picture, but this is my mom. And there's more pictures of her on my Instagram, which I will put the link in the description below. But her wish for all her kids was for us to be happy, and it's been hard going through 11 years without her, but I know that she's there, and sometimes it's not the same. Sometimes I just want to physically hug her, physically talk to her. Yeah, she was an amazing human being. She had 3 miscarriages before she got pregnant with me. So I was like the miracle baby. They didn't know whether I was a girl or boy. They kept it a secret. And they decided to name me Charlie after my grandfather. And that whole side of the family calls me Charlie Lynn because my grandfather's name, they call him Charlie, even though it's Charles. And they were so excited to have a baby, and next thing you know, she had 4 more, excuse me. There's 5 of us total, and she would have had more if her body would have let her. She loved kids. She loved us so much. And I just miss her. I miss, arguing with her. And I do go through times where I look back and I regret butting heads with her as much as I did. But that's the typical teenager mom stuff. And I can't take it back, and I try not to dwell on it because it is normal when someone is no longer in your life for whatever reason. You look back and you regret the things that you said or didn't say, you did or didn't do, and you wish you could relive it. And unfortunately you can't. So you just have to remember all of the good times that was happening while they were alive and they were in your life. I wish that she was here. I hope that I'm making her proud. A lot of my friends tell me I am. And it's just hard. It's hard when big life events happen and they're not there to tell them. It's hard. But I do look back and I cherish the memories that I have with her. All of the funny moments, all of the times that my brother and I tormented her and she acted like she was annoyed but ended up laughing. As far as her health, she did have Kawasaki's disease when she was really little, and at the time they didn't really know what it was and they didn't know the effects long term. So it's basically a virus, and you get strawberry tongue, a rash everywhere, and a high fever. Well, the high fever for long periods of time can have an effect on your heart, which in her case it did. So at 29, my age, she found out that she had to get one of her heart valves replaced. And it's strange because I don't remember a lot of my childhood, but certain bits and pieces I do. And that was one of them. I remember sitting on the floor playing with pots and pans, and I remember her getting the phone call. I didn't understand it at the time, but I remember that happening. So fast forward, she got the surgery and everything was going good. We had just moved to Georgia from Florida, and she kind of took a turn for the worst. So I remember going to the doctor with her, and I just remember her being so scared and so upset on the table, and I sat outside of the room because I was little. I didn't really, and I don't remember what led up to her going to the doctor. And I remember the doctor came out and said that they had to call an ambulance, that she had to go to the hospital, but that everything was going to be okay. And they ended up getting my dad on the phone. I was scared, of course. He calmed me down and said that he would meet us at the hospital. First time riding in an ambulance. I was in the front seat, my mom was in the back, and of course, you know, she kept calling my name, trying to check on me, and the driver was, you know, he was really sweet, and he was like, oh yeah, you know, have you ever ridden in an ambulance? And trying to kind of distract me, basically. And I was not having it. I didn't care. That sounds horrible, but I didn't. I just wanted my mom, and I wanted to understand what was going on. So we get to the hospital. She gets put in a room. I meet with my dad and my 2 younger siblings at the time. There's only 3 of us. And that's when we found out she had to get a whole new valve plus another one. And she had to get plates put in her chest to replace her sternum. Sorry, my phone cut off. Anyway, so the manufacturer that originally gave the valve, it was a pig valve. They found out that it was contaminated with yeast, and it had eaten away her entire chest cavity. It had damaged the original valve and another one. So they had to go to Mount Zion in New York City because that's where the specialist was. And she had to have surgery. She had both replaced and the plates in her sternum. I just remember my grandparents being down there taking care of us. And we had just moved to Georgia not that long before. And so, yeah, I remember that. And I remember them trying to keep things as normal as possible. And it was hard because I had to try to keep things normal for my siblings, even though there was a lot I didn't understand. Yeah, I mean, she got through it. She's a fighter. She always had been. They came home and things were good for a while. We ended up getting a house on some land, and it was beautiful. I mean, those were the good times. And that's actually when I really started hanging out with one of my best friends. But another story, another day. But yeah, she was the best human being I've ever known. And if I could be half of the woman she was, I'll be grateful. But call your mom, your dad, your siblings, your grandparents, your friends. Tell them you love them. You know, don't take it for granted. Life is so short and can change in an instant. And that kind of took a sad turn again. So on a positive note, yeah, she was amazing. She was beautiful and so loving. And I'm so honored that I'm able to tell her story and pass it along so people have an idea of who she was. I wish I had more videos and pictures, but I have my memories, and that's all I need. So if you guys are curious and want to see more pictures of her, like I said, they're on my Instagram. And I'll still be dropping a video on Monday. So if you could subscribe, like the video, I would appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.